Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Shriyaya. Joining me today is General Ravi Shankar and General Dushyant Singh. And let's welcome the two generals. Namaskar, sir. How are you?
Namaskar. Thanks a
Namaskar.
lot.
We are all
We are,
fine.
we are missing the third general. We must be doing something
Mm,
better.
as
Yes,
always.
your
We'll,
General Rajiv is busy with something else, so he couldn't make it today. This was a special transmission. He was there on Thursday, but General Dushyant was traveling, so we're kind of evening it up here. So this is a very important hangout because we are talking about post Bangladesh elections and what are the feelings running in India and America and so on. While India did not recognize the Muhammad Yunus government, America did right away. But in this case, both these governments have recognized. So that means that somewhere both are okay with what happened in Bangladesh from the looks of it. So this is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to request General Dushyant Singh today to start the proceedings because he has also got a small slide deck, and then we will go over to General Shankar. Over to you, Dushyant, General Dushyant.
Thank you, ARJ. Let me have the slide deck straight away so that we do not spend more time. As far as the BD elections are concerned, I will give out a macro view of it. I'm not going to go into details. It's already there all over in the social media. So, going on to the first issue for India, in my opinion, nothing has changed. So, our posture, what it was during the interim government's time, must stand. If you look at Pakistan, for it seems, at least for Pakistan, is that it's a big victory. Whether it is going to be a big victory, that only time will tell. And there are spokes which can be put into its perception. For China, another avenue has opened as far as India is concerned. Although when I gleaned through the Chinese media, I did not find any kind of a aggressive tone there. They recognized the elections, they welcomed the elections, but maybe outside of it was neutral. But within them, I think they are looking at Bangladesh, the new formation, as a avenue to get back at India. As far as US is concerned, I think it's another feather in its gray zone campaign. Another colored revolution has come to success. That's the way I look at it. And it seems that in times to come, the US will use Bangladesh as it has been using Pakistan to counter as a counterweight to India, and for reasons you and me are all well aware of. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, an era of playing major powers to get back at India. I think that is going to be its major way ahead if Tariq Rahman comes to power. Remember, I've said if Tariq Rahman comes to power, old history has been wiped out, consigned to the archives beyond the archives. This seems to be a election where Bangladesh has changed its entire constitution, entire history, to say that it has, really speaking, no connection with what all happened during the so-called Bangla movement. And I'll come to that subsequently. Transformation to East Pakistan is nearing completion, with Jamaat on the rise. And believe you me, in the referendum, Urdu is being included as an official language in addition to Bangla. That is something which you and me have to be a little careful about. It was all about Bengali culture, it was all about Bangla heritage. All that is getting diluted now, and maybe we are looking at something which is going to be another elephant in the room as far as India is concerned, along with Pakistan and China. Oh, I think my slides are getting mixed up, but doesn't matter. Was it really the highest turnout as far as the elections are concerned? I'm sorry, no. 2008, 87.13, and it was considered as one of the most free and the fair elections conducted by a caretaker government. So I would rate it 2008 as the benchmark. There are other elections also, but there you can say that there may have been some tampering or some kind of a rigging. 2001 was 74.97. In 1996, it was absolutely low, 21%. 91, 55 to 60. 2018 was 80%, and of course the last one which Sheikh Hasina had conducted, there it was around 40%. So that I can understand, because the BNP had actually boycotted the elections, and that is why that much of votes had possibly not come out. But even if you take all those factors into account, I don't think this was really a free and fair elections with half of Bangladesh not represented. Why I say so is that Bangladesh traditionally has been half owned by Awami League and half owned by BNP. So with this half of the voting population, virtually, if not half, at least 30% of the population not voting in this election. I don't think it is a free and fair election. I don't think it is a representation of new Bangladesh which people are trying to hype. Results may be misleading. There is a lot of gap between the cup and the lip. Lip and the tongue both may burn. And why do I say so? Because we don't know whether which result will be declared first, the result of the referendum or result of the government. Now referendum has certain provisions which I don't think Tariq Rahman is in favor of, and those are related to power structure sharing, the powers between the president and the prime minister, the term of prime minister being made to be only 2 terms. Although people are saying that both the parties were involved for 9 months, into all the parties, not Awami League, were involved in the framing of these referendums. But I have my views. I think the inputs which we are getting from Bangladesh directly, people who have been there, Kalol Bhattacharya was there, a few, I think he's still there. He was saying that there is a strong reservation as far as certain conditions of the referendum are concerned. So how will the upper house be elected? That is another point of contention. You see, the upper house can be elected either by the number of seats or by the voting percentage in the main election. Now, if it is by the voting percentage in the main elections, then you might find a different kind of a upper cameral upper house. One of the examples of Sri Lanka, in which although I think Sri Paksha lost the main
Yeah,
election, but
even
yes, sir.
Nepal also has this proportional
See,
representation.
yes, sir. So what I'm saying is, this also may create some kind of friction between BNP and the other parties which are there. What about the other half? I've already spoken about. Awami League, will their cadre go underground? That's a question which is begging answer. Although my search said that possibly they are not in a position as of now to undertake any kind of a resistance. But in the long term, I think with its leader being out of the country, and there should be slowly and steadily certain amount of pro Awami League cadre also taking steps to ensure that their interests are also taken care of. As of now, of course, that's a far away call, but they're not dead. They are not dead. They are just there biding their time. I think sooner or later you will start seeing their activities as well. If you go to the next thing, which is my possibly the last slide, what are the options for India? Stand firm on its interests or bow down to the soft power route? My recommendation is we should stand firm on our interest and do not get involved too much in the soft power route. Bangladesh is not Sri Lanka. Bangladesh is not Maldives. Bangladesh needs to be handled carefully. There is a presence of Pak ISI there, fully entrenched with the Jamaat-e Islami. There is a huge presence of the Chinese there, and of course, the US, as you all are aware, has been the architect of all this change which we are seeing as far as Bangladesh is concerned. I am not trying to be in favor of Sheikh Hasina. I'm just saying that there are certain things which can be done in a manner like what it happened in 2008, but it was not done so. Anyway, part of the mistake lies with the Sheikh Hasina government as well. We need to develop leverages, throw them out in the environment. By that, what I mean is whatever our steps which we are trying to contain Bangladesh's anti-India stance, they should be publicly told. It should not be anymore in the gray zone, in a hidden manner. So which the government is already taking, such as blocking the land routes, etc., power supplies. I think some people will learn only through the long stick. So in this case, my opinion is soft power needs to be played only that much and no more. No kindness to big players, such as getting a deal signed days before the elections, that too by an interim government. Where have we seen an interim government which was supposed to only conduct free and fair elections, and it signs a deal not only with US but with China, including the port development. These are things which are not undertaken by interim governments, but he has gone around doing that. In 14 in 18 months, I think 18 months, he has visited 14 times foreign countries. I'm talking of Yunus. Tariq Rahman is a known India out supporter. Now, people are saying that the elections were very well managed. A lot of security force, 120 odd, I think 120,000 troops were deployed from the military itself. But it was very difficult for them to travel. So if somebody was struck outside Dhaka, it was very difficult for him to come to Dhaka and then poll or give his votes. So therefore, there is a certain amount of suspicion as far as fairness of this election is concerned. Also, although the international media like the EU, etc., are saying that it was by and large a free, fair election. Now, he being an India out supporter, uh, somebody reflected on this and said that although openly during the elections nobody really mentioned about India out and or anti-India plank, because the anti-India plank as per them was blanked out the moment they banned the Awami League. But in the university campuses, there was a quite revolution going on, or quite a movement going on against Indian or against India as far as Bangladesh is concerned, and it is still continuing. It's being inflamed by the students as well as by the Jamaat. So therefore, although when I was hearing the Luton Delhi's comments in the media as far as Indian media is concerned, they're all going the old route. My take is that take it with a pinch of salt. I think we need to have both the stick and the carrot together as far as Bangladesh is concerned. Era of soft power diplomacy should go that far and no more. Have a total control over Ganga Sagar, Tista, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. By Ganga Sagar, I mean the Bay of Bengal. Tista, I mean, the Chinese angle gets out here. Ganga, it's basically the Bihar interests have to be ensured that they do not lose out in the next round of. In fact, in the month of May, the treaty is getting over as far as the Ganga treaty is concerned. Bihar's interests have to be taken care of along with West Bengal. Otherwise, India will again be a loser in this case. As far as Brahmaputra is concerned, yes, Brahmaputra is a joint problem for us between Bangladesh and India. But as far as China is concerned, but India has to take its own call. I think we need to focus more on our interest and less on the Bangladesh interest. In any case, he's likely to develop a closer relation with China than with India. That should be a taken given. Not a time for India to scale down its boots on ground. In fact, there is now need. Now, this is a military recommendation which I am giving. In fact, there is a need to enhance it. Don't fall the lobby that says everything, or don't fall for the lobby that says everything is going to be hunky and dory. I'm sorry, it is not going to be hunky and dory. It is going to be a rough ride, rough seas ahead as far as India Bangladesh relations are concerned. And remember, these results will have a great impact on West Bengal, which I have not put it here. Minorities, temporarily because of the elections, they were not being targeted, but in the future, 8 million or so population of Hindus, which is there on the other side, will remain in danger, especially with Jamaat coming in. You must have heard about the leak which took place of conversation between the US official and the Bangladeshi, where they were talking about giving Jamaat around enough support. And when they were asked that will Jamaat win the election, the American official said, no, 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 they will not win the election, but they will be given adequate seats, around 60 or 70, because BNP, I'm sure, will fall on its own weight because of the fact that it is almost similar to Awami League, And that is why I said there is a gap between the cup and the lip. There is going to be a lot of frictions there, and chances are people are also talking of that there may be a in national government till the power structure is fully organized. That is the upper house, lower house, president, prime minister, term of the prime minister. So many things are there which are very radical in nature, and they will not go sail through so easily. So West Bengal elections will get impacted by this particular thing. I don't know which way it will flow, but there is going to be a huge, I think, immigration pressure on India. We need to be careful of that. And so with that, I think I will stop here and hand over the floor to you, Ayarji, and to Jan Shankar. Thank you.
Thank you, General Dushyant. General Shankar.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Generally, I agree with what General Dushyant has said. Let me add some and put a few issues more for us to think of. But voter turnout and the elections itself are very important, what General Dushyant said. What I want to highlight is, you see, last time when last year, 24 beginning when Sheikh Hasina won, the voter turnout was 40%. Today it is 60%. Even 60% is jacked up. It's, last time when both the parties took place, it was 80%. So this is between 40% and this thing. 40% when Sheikh Hasina got, it was a boycott of BNP. Now, in this time, what has happened is Awami League has been taken off forcibly. My guess is all voted for all the women and push them up so keep the Jamaat out. Because Jamaat made the mistake of saying we'll not give any post for women, ye, wo, all that, so that backfired on them very. Now, given that, what has happened is you see in the last government there was a non-representation of the voters, which is about 40% or the electorate. That's how it is. Today, there's a non-representation of the Awami League vote. So, to that extent, this election legitimacy itself is under question. Legally, though the whole thing has been fundamental legitimacy of this election exercise is at stake. And that complication which will come up further, right? That's a point. Yeah,
General Shankar, your voice is breaking up, sir. Would you mind logging out and logging back in?
yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. Viewers, a small request to all of you. It's coming live on 3 different channels: Strategic Frontlines, Gunner Shot, and P Gurus. And wherever you are watching it, please like the video. And if you're not subscribed to that channel, please do subscribe to that channel. General Shankar, we were experiencing some voice problems. He's back here.
Can you hear me now?
Sir? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I can hear something back, so I'll log out again and I'll get back again. Sorry.
Okay. I think there are certain other issues which we need to also factor in the Bangladesh elections. There is a general feeling now which is there in India that we can move ahead with this government. I feel that that particular feeling has to be cautioned with a great amount of cautious approach before we jump into this new wave of Bangladesh.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Yes.
Right. So as I was saying, this voter turnout, actually, whatever happened in the last election has been flipped. So the legitimacy of this election has a problem fundamentally. Though overall they say, okay, this is a fair election and all that. So the legitimacy of this and this weight will come if there's a crisis. The moment tomorrow there's a crisis in this government, this legitimacy will come up to play. Now, next thing is Jamaat has doubled its more than doubled its weight from 30 to 77. That's not good. That's not good at all. So they have a voice today. Now with Jamaat having this voice and BNP, which is almost an Islamic party, I wouldn't say almost, it is an Islamic party, right? So in play, they might endeavor to keep Awami League out and things like that. So you might have a very radical outlook of this government which will come up in the future. Okay, now as far as you know, USA is concerned, USA was openly siding Jamaat. So to some extent, this has backfired on USA. They'll have to make a new deal with Tariq Rahman, right? How that deal will come about, we'll have to see. Now this referendum. Now this referendum is very funny. 58% have said okay for the referendum. They gave 80 questions. Up now, out of those 80 questions which are given on many issues, like what General Dushyant said, a chap was expect to say yes or no, right? And they've got 58%, and this 58% is only of 60%. So actually, if you see, it is one third of Bangladesh said yes for the referendum. One. Number two, this referendum has certain things like making it an Islamic Republic in Urdu, bicameral legislature, all that. Okay, and it cuts Tariq Rahman's stature. Now, will Tariq Rahman accept it? Now, especially since he has got a brute majority of two-thirds. Okay, and this is all machination of Yunus so that he is relevant to the whole story. Okay, and he would probably want to become a president. Now, Tariq Rahman came into this scene late. He's not spoken anything about supporting Yunus, ye, wo, anything. Please understand. He just come 1 month back. He's just parachuted into this whole thing. No, he's not a fool. He's got a sharp guy. He was running his mother's government as a backdoor, backroom artist long back. Because he had an unsavory past. He had a cut in all deals. We know that he was involved in arms smuggling case. He was also involved in giving shelter to militants and all that. So he knows the ropes. What is happening? So if we think that this referendum will go through, I don't think so. I don't think this referendum. He'll see. He's already called Mr. Modi for his swearing in. Now, once Mr. Modi goes, and I think he will go, right? We'll come to it why he should go. So once he goes there, uska more lag jata hai on the legitimacy of this election and support for this fellow. Now, once that happens, it's very difficult to unseat him. If it's very difficult to unseat him, it will be even more difficult for this referendum to go through. So he will be very selective on this referendum, right? And because it cuts his power. A bicameral system means one house above him, which he has to answer. And if there's proportional representation out there, he might not get enough seats. So because it's in the percentage of votes polled. So he might not go in for it, but we'll see. It's early days. We don't know. So I'm not too worried about the referendum at this point of time. I think the natural process will. Okay. Now, then question is how will Tariq perform? This is the election. So the election has its own weight, everything. But if you look at the election overall, in the set of circumstances in which this election was carried out, this is the best result India could have expected. You couldn't have expected a better result. Let's be very clear. The chance that both these chaps won't be elected was out of question. One of them had to be elected. We've got the lesser evil up, so let's be happy for it. One. Number two, you made an outreach to both our external affairs minister and our ambassador has, we put our weight behind Tariq to some extent. So we have some leeway building up there. So let's make use of it. So we have to see. And we also have to ensure how this Yunus is ejected out and how Jamaat is controlled. You have to take a proactive thing. We can't say, oh, that is their internal thing. So that season is out, but I'll come to it a little later. Now let's see how will Tariq perform. I mean, it's okay. You're in the first flush of elections. You won. You become a prime minister. Everything. You have no experience. You have no experience of anything. Okay. So how do you revive the economy? Economy is the main thing. See, look at the status of Bangladesh today. Bangladesh probably had a flawed government, okay, in August 24, but they had a thriving economy. today you have an equally flawed government. I told you the flip of this government legitimacy. The government remains flawed. Okay, but your economy is a basket case. And no trade deal with USA, no trade deal with China, no trade deal with Pakistan, or no trade deal anyone will revive their economy. Okay, and unless he turns towards India, so how is he going to revive the economy is to be seen. The trade deal which this fellow has gone and signed, Yunus has signed with USA, is loaded against Bangladesh. So will that be accepted today? How will that go? How will that be taken forward? Is to be seen. Okay. Then what is the role of Awami League? Awami League might be down and out. But can you keep 50% of your population out of the whole story just like that? How is he going to treat the minorities? These are questions which are live. 8 million Hindus out there are not a joke, and that's our concern. So these have to be factored in. And then of course I said, what's the role of Yunus? Will Yunus survive or he'll be thrown out? Because as of today, once Tariq Rahman gets sworn in, Yunus has no role. What's his role? Okay, and he has no role in BNP. Jamaat will also eject him. The students have gone. So what's his role? So this is to be seen interesting as to whether Yunus will have a role at all or whether he will be allowed to have a role. If Yunus is allowed to have a role, then Tariq Rahman weakens himself. And people, all those people in Bangladesh National Party are not fools, right? They will keep, because they've had their internal problems with Yunus. So I think we're seeing the end of Yunus. Okay. Now the point is Pakistan. General Dushyant said, "Look, Pakistan will be very happy." I have a different view. Please remember, Ziaur Rahman, who's Tariq Rahman's father, was a freedom fighter. Right? He was the second guy after Mujibur Rahman who put up the flag of freedom in Chittagong Hills. He was a cutter anti-Pakistani. So was his mother. That one factor might push Tariq Rahman away from Pakistan. The Pakistani angle was through Jamaat and Yunus. So that might not happen. Right? And what I expect to happen is this. There's a lot of revisionism of the history of Bangladesh. Now, Tariq Rahman will say, okay, look, my mother was so great. She did 2 terms, 3 terms. My father did all this. He raised the flag of independence. So he might revise history to call Ziaur Rahman as the father of the nation. Something like that. So he, in his effort to rewrite history, he can't be seen with Pakistan. After all, this man was a freedom fighter. So this will come up, and they are very keen on, what I've seen in the past 1 year is the Bangladeshis are fast on the gun and rewriting their history. Their history is, what they think of it today, and their history is tomorrow. So, and, they want, and they have short memories. That's, in the emotive Bengali thinking, these are all, fly-by-night operators who are coming and writing histories. So this chap has come. So I don't know whether this will go through at all. Okay. Now what do we do in India? Like what General Dushyant said, this is our time not to say, oh, goody goody boy, we'll go back to old style, we'll treat Bangladesh as our friend, yeah, all that. Nonsense. I'm emphatically saying nonsense. First and foremost, we've known what Bangladesh can do in terms of trouble in that area, posturing, attitude. That has not gone just because of this election. The people and the Jamaat. The Jamaat is a bigger nuisance. After all, most of the Jamaat seats are along the West Bengal border. If you see the vote distribution, and northeast of Rangpur or along the Garo Hills, right? Which is it's not Garo Hills, rather where the Brahmaputra enters. And north of that is what? North of that is again our areas which are full of Muslims. Okay. So if you see that belt, Brahmaputra belt, you see one thing about Assam is all the chars are held by Muslims. Chars are what? Low-lying areas, fertile areas where agriculture goes on. The little high-level areas are held by tribals. This is the way demography is spread in Assam along the Brahmaputra. Okay, so farming and all Assamese do. Assami Muslims do more. So there's a link between the people who are in the south of Rangpur area and north of that into the Brahmaputra on our side. Okay, Golpada, those belts, where the Brahmaputra enters Dhubri, right? Dhubri district, so it enters. So that belt is where Jamaat has got thing. And like what General Dushyant said, that has got a bearing on our West Bengal elections. Because on this side, you have Dinajpur, you have 24 Parganas, all these people, these are all Murshidabad, or these are all Muslim areas. Islampur, which is next to Kishanganj, so these are all Muslim areas. This side you have Muslim areas, and that side you have Jamaat, majority areas. You will have a problem in West Bengal election 6 months down the line. So you have to take action on the border fencing. And that is why, if you remember, I said you need to put your red lines down now. You need to tell this man, let PM Modi go and tell him, भैया जो अगर तुम हमारे खिलाफ कुछ करोगे ये डंडा पड़ेगा. बड़ा clear है. I mean, you can put it in diplomatic words, but I have no problem with it. So if you see that, then you have no choice. When the prime minister should go there. After all, he'll make a mark when he goes there. It doesn't matter who else comes. Right? And go, sure, Donald Trump won't come. I'm sure Xi Jinping won't come. Okay, then you are the tallest leader going out there and blessing that fellow. And that fellow will have to look up to you. Okay, so you give him this message. Red lines, not to be crossed. And the alternates for these red lines, they should know. Repercussions of this crossing these red lines, they should know very clearly. What we'll do. Don't think it's hunky-dory. We'll help you. The carrot and the stick. First the stick and then the carrot. It's not the other way around. Okay? That's the way I look at it. Then minorities. Minority security is something which I think we have to stress. Now, what are the fundamentals? If the garment industry has to survive, they need power. They need yarn. They need facilities. With what they have, they can do anything they want. They cannot export. They cannot export. Even if they make everything, they can't export it. They can't make because they don't have power. So all this is there. You have the chavi. So show them that chavi and the battery. कि भैया ये बैटरी है, ये जलेगा जिस तरीके जब मैं चाहता हूँ, या ये चाबी है तभी मैं जब ऑन करूंगा ये बैटरी चलेगा. Water. Without water, Bangladesh gets silted, right? And that water sharing agreement is on the cards now. So you have too many levers with them, and we need to start using it. And then you need to put one clear red line. Don't think of starting insurgency in the northeast or giving shelter to insurgents. If that happens, we reserve the right to come in and take them out. I mean, I think we need to be very, very firm with Bangladesh having gone through this. At the same time, yes, make a new beginning. Like I said, this is the best thing which you have. So make use of this opportunity to help them out. No problems. But the repercussions of trying to go here and there, they should know very clearly. Okay. Same with China. That SEZ which they are given for a drone thing, near Dhaka, they should be told very clearly, reverse it. Now, the point is, all these points are there. Pak, I'm pretty sanguine. Okay, you will have some ISI problems. We will be there. But again, part of the red line theory. You need to have a red line document for Bangladesh. What is feasible for them and what is not feasible for them. But how to handle Bangladesh? Because US is going to be there. US will get around Tariq Rahman. They'll twist his arm. They'll make Tariq Rahman do what they want him to do. Now, the role of US here is very important. Let me highlight. Why did USA come here in the first place? They didn't come here for a picnic. They didn't overthrow Bangladesh for a picnic. They came to Bangladesh to exercise control over China and India. Let's not have any doubts about it. Okay, it happened during Biden's time, and Trump found it very convenient to finger India through Bangladesh. Okay, if that be so, you today want to have a partnership with USA again. You have a trade deal. People are talking of a framework agreement for defense. Uh, uh, Marco Rubio has said India is very important. Yeah, all this nonsense which is being spoken of. We should talk to USA about Bangladesh. Because if USA and India get together, then you can control China. In any case, USA will do what it has to do to keep China out. They didn't go there to help China build a drone factory. Okay, I'm very sure of that. That will go. But the fact is how you handle Bangladesh, how USA wants to handle Bangladesh, we should be clear with USA. We need to talk to USA on this. Talk about in open forum or behind closed doors. We need to get to an understanding. If we don't get into understanding, our larger relationship with USA will not be okay. And they have to know that there is going to be a issue that they cannot expect us to be fully in sync with what they're thinking. If they are not in sync with what we are thinking or problems. No, why I'm saying this is, see, the equation between India and China, India and USA is changing very fast. Very fast. What was not there 10 days back is there today. And let me outline that to you. As of today, Russia is moving away from China. Okay? There is a problem between Russia and China, between Putin and Xi Jinping. They have different viewpoints. Within Russia, there is a viewpoint which is coming up. We should go towards the dollar, back to the dollar. If that happens, China gets isolated and Russia goes this side. If that happens, the dynamics change. Our dynamic with Russia change. There's no more sanctions, no more nonsense. So you can get oil, you can get everything what you want. You couldn't get all that because of the Russia-Ukraine war. If Russia has to go towards USA, there'll be some settlement in the Ukraine front also. And this is being actively spoken of. Okay, this is actively, and I've got this input from 2-3 different sources. It's not one source. Okay, including from Russia. So that flip is on the cards. If that flip happens, the whole thing changes. Then what are you talking of the Indo-Pacific construct? The next thing is Japan. What's happened in Japan is tectonic. People don't understand it. Sanae Takachi has got a majority, good majority, comfortable majority, and she's militarizing. And she's good with India. Leverage it. Okay. USA now needs India. USA needs India not only for the China, now it needs India for stabilizing Iran. Tomorrow Iran goes under, which it will go in some form or the other. Stabilization is here. USA will need India to stabilize Pakistan. I'm saying this because you see how Balochistan is going. You see how things are happening in Pakistan. It's not simple. In fact, people are saying Pakistan has always had a huge bill to pay for that free lunch it had with Trump. Okay, that bill is now being presented to Pakistan. And Pakistan can't pay that bill. Already UAV has said take a walk. Okay, so the dynamics here are changing. Red Sea route opening, India. Indian Ocean, India, because assets are there, physical assets are there, Indian. They're not American, they're not Chinese, and they don't have the capability to come here. So India's role itself is changing. India's equation with EU, India's equation with Brazil. Brazil gentleman is coming here 3 days later, President Lula. So you look at the larger picture, India's dependence on USA has reduced. Mr. Macron is coming here. You're going to sign that Rafale deal. No one can stop it today. In which case, you're not dependent on USA alone for technology. So you have got a certain degree of autonomy from USA. Earlier, you were looking at USA for F-35s. You're looking at strategic aircraft and ICT, ISET, AWO. That dependence is now reduced. AI summit is going to be held here. So if that dependence on USA is reduced, you can talk to USA on equal terms. Why I'm dwelling on this is we need a deal with USA which includes Bangladesh. I'm coming back to Bangladesh now. Right? Otherwise, we'll be at loggerheads. If we are at loggerheads in Bangladesh, and right, and if Bangladesh is a problem for us, we will have a problem with USA. So this has to be sorted out. So overall, I've outlined 4 issues in Bangladesh, and we'll talk more. The first is the issue of the Bangladesh elections itself. How will this Tariq Rahman government behave? We'll have to see, wait and watch to some extent. But you have to give the red lines. How India has to deal with Bangladesh. And the fourth important thing is how India, USA have to come to a, some kind of an equation to handle Bangladesh. And these 4 are important. And we'll see how this rolls out because it's too early days also now to talk more than that at this point of time. Yeah, back to you, Shri Ayerji.
Thank you so much, sir. Your concluding remarks, General Dushyant. You're muted, sir. Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. I would like to add some few points to what General Shankar has said about Pakistan. Why I mentioned that thing that Pakistan may be perceiving it as victory. There are 2 reasons for it. One is that the JEI's victory out of the 68 odd seats or 77, some people are saying 77, the results have not been fully declared. About 50 to 55 are in the areas of the northwest Bangladesh and the southwest Bangladesh, which means bordering West Bengal, bordering Siliguri corridor, bordering the Assam. So therefore, and almost 90% of the seats are there. Rest everywhere it has been washed out by the BNP, which is a danger call as far as India is concerned. And that is why I had mentioned that there'll be immigration pressure, there'll be a election pressure, West Bengal elections, the even in the Assam elections, as and when they take place, there is going to be a huge problem for us unless Tariq Rahman is not tamed, as General Shankar was saying about the red lines. Overall, I view it's too early days for us to give any firm comments, except for the fact that it's a time for cautious approach. It's a time where we should not relent also on Sheikh Hasina. Sheikh Hasina must not be sent back, or she must not be, despite the treaty which we have signed with the with Bangladesh earlier about the what do you call handing over people who are convicted from one country to the other country. This would be seen as a weakness of India and not as a strength. So this is one additional caution which I thought I should throw it out into the open, and should not be any compromise on that. With the US, remember Sheikh Hasina's son is also in the US. So therefore, if the games can be played by others, I think there are chances of us also playing games the other way around. So that red line of the border areas is something which I wanted to highlight very clearly. 58 seats, 50 seats out of the 77 won by the training areas of JI are there. ISI is somewhere in this area plotting, doing something against India. So this is not a minor concern. My own research when I was the BGS in this
Put
particular
this
area.
picture up which I have put.
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one. Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see you can see the green markers. I think are of the JEI, if I'm not wrong.
Jamaat. Yeah.
Jamaat. So Jamaat is controlling our border areas, which is khatre ki ghanti as far as India is concerned. We should not take it lightly. That's all. I'll stop here.
Yeah.
Your last word,
So
sir.
I agree with whatever General Dushyant said. That picture I showed, you have to be very careful. You see, like I said, first and foremost, what are Indian interests in this whole story? Again, you have to get back to the fundamental. What is our Indian interest? Our Indian interest is the well-being of India. So, Bengal elections coming up and their ability to interfere in this, we have to take care because they will try. They will try. Let's not have any doubt. Siliguri corridor, primal interest. Chinese activity along the border, primal interest. Okay, the activity in along Agartala border and all that, tribal area, inciting them, primal interest. Giving shelter to northeast insurgents, primal interest. And these are red lines which they should be told, okay, you do all this, this is what you're going to get. Okay, I mean, without any doubt, that cannot be compromised at all. Yeah, like I repeat, under the conditions, this is the best outcome which we could have expected. Let's start positively. Give him, look, all this is there. We'll give you any help you want, provided you adhere to what we say. Don't adhere, we don't give. As simple as that. There are no two ways about it. We should be very clear. And we should also be very clear that, we can't talk to China, we can't talk to Pakistan on this issue. Okay? But we can talk to USA. I keep repeating this. India, US, modus vivendi to how to deal with Bangladesh becomes very, 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 very important. If that is not there, many things will lose. Then I think, in my view, the Prime Minister should call all the chief ministers which border Bangladesh. Whether it is, though Sikkim doesn't border, Sikkim is part of that story. I would say West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Tripura, Mizoram, Meghalaya. Have a talk. If needed, have this talk in Guwahati. Have a talk in Siliguri, wherever, and see how to get a common political consensus as to how to deal. The moment you do that, that itself will send a big message to the Bangladeshi people. And last but not the least, I'll get back to one important thing. The Bangladeshi people have spoken. Tariq Rahman wouldn't have won if the Bangladeshi women did not vote for him. The Bangladeshi women are speaking. They have given a big message in this whole story. How do you reach out to them? How do you reach out to the Bangladeshi Hindus? How do you reach out to the Bangladeshi moderates? You see, one of the mistakes which we did during the last time was we concentrated on Sheikh Hasina's party and ignored the rest. But today, like we concentrated on people in Afghanistan and we could retrieve the situation from Taliban. Similarly, we need to concentrate on the people of Bangladesh rather than just the government and the Jamaat and all these people. If you can concentrate on the people of Bangladesh, maybe we'll get better results out. Right? I think we have to also change track rather than just keep talking they're useless, yeah, who, and all that. Because you keep calling a chap an idiot, he will behave like an idiot sooner or later. Okay? We need to do something. Bangladesh is in our neighborhood. It is not in England. Right? It doesn't affect England. It doesn't affect USA. USA, it's a global power play. For us, it's our thing. Remember, before August 24, we didn't bother too much about the Northeast. Today, we have to bother about the Northeast, irrespective of which government. Can you ensure that this reduces? Which is, I think, a very important step in this whole story. Of course, the idea of putting tunnels under the Siliguri corridor is a good idea. Though I personally feel you don't need it. But if it is to be done, so be it. We can do with a lot of things. It's also a good idea to try to revive, if things go well, how you can take Bangladesh along with our progress. If it doesn't happen, well, they can be there and be prepared to live with a Bangladesh which is a basket case. Already Bangladesh is a basket case. Let's be very clear about it. Only thing is, it will be a basket with more holes if things go south. And we'll see how things go. And I'm sure these discussions will come up more as events unfold. Back to you, Sri Ayerji.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's take a few questions now.
Yeah.
First question to General Dushyant. The wanton killing of Hindus and looting them at leisure does show Bangladesh in poor light. It's unlikely that Tariq Rahman would be in a position to change any of this. Your views?
See, in my view, India should forcefully convey this issue about the minorities, and it should form one of the no crossing of the red line as far as India is concerned. As of current situation, what I'm gathering from the media and the other reports, that Tariq Rahman may tamper his approach towards the Hindus and the other minorities which are there in Bangladesh, and the statements which are coming out from people in Bangladesh, I'm talking of the ones who are likely to form the government, is going to be is not going to be that bad as it was under the interim government. See, Jamaat is not in control fully. So till the time Jamaat is contained, I think the Hindus and the other minorities would be safe. Let's wait and watch.
One more
General
thing I
Shankar,
want to add. Yeah, one more thing I want to add is that the revolutionary fever has gone out. वो गर्मी उतर गया है. Election हो गया है. People want to get on with lives. Okay, and in that the Hindus play a significant role within the Bangladeshi civic fabric or societal fabric. So things will restitute. How long can they keep this up? If this if this continues, it will be a law and order problem. A law and order problem will be a problem for this government. Will they like to have it? See, like I said, that chap's focus will now have to be reviving the economy and calming Bangladesh down. Till now, it doesn't matter. Oh, it didn't matter, Yunus, what happened to anyone. All he was interested in Islamization. And one more thing which has happened is the student rabble rousers, Islamists, they all gone out. They've all broken,
And
except those five,
yeah.
six seats they've got. So I think things will change. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I also want to add here that they announced some kind of compensation for the lynchings which
Yeah.
took place in Bangladesh. So there seems to be some positive action, and I believe the amounts are quite huge, not the normal run of the mill amounts. In fact, assurance of a job, assurance of supporting the business which that family was doing. So many other things have been announced as far as the name was Deepu, the guy who was lynched. So there may be some positive movements. Let's wait and watch.
next question, please. Ananda Kumaresh, thank you so much for your super sticker. General Shankar, this is for you. Pak China ban, irrespective of their internal situations, they are clear on India, but our perspective towards them keeps wavering with time and government. What happens to widening of chicken's neck?
Look, I don't think we have a dichotomy of thought on this with our governments. We always been clear that chicken neck is a vulnerability, whether it is this government or the previous government or ever since I can remember. Because the first time I entered the chicken neck was in 1978, and that's when people said, "Yeah, ये chicken neck है." तब से अभी तक chicken neck has not changed. Right. And as far as widening chicken neck and all that, it involves offensive action, and transgressing international borders. So that might not happen, especially after the fact that you only recently settled the border and the enclaves. You did it recently, about 3-4 years back only. So I don't think that can happen, but you can strengthen the chicken neck. The way to strengthen the chicken neck, I've already told you. You have to strengthen the border and the monitoring the border so that there's no illegal immigration. One. Number two, you can tell Bangladesh, okay, within 20-30 kilometers on the other side of the border, if any activities take place which are inimical to our interests, we will take action. We reserve the right to take action. Okay, tell them very clearly. Here, you don't be think one day one motor front will come and fall, or something will happen, and all that. If you can send unknown gunmen all over the countryside, यहाँ भी हो सकता है, right? And then we are putting that underground, train lines and things like that. So I think things will happen. To say that our governments are not functioning is, I think, unfair.
Sir,
Yeah.
over to you.
Off कर दिया.
You're muted, sir.
Yeah, I would like to add here that widening doesn't mean physical widening. You
Yeah,
see,
you need to widen the.
if you have the influence across, That itself is a threat in being. That's the widening of the corridor.
Yeah.
Remember, we have done certain actions right in the open, in public domain. They are not gray zone actions, and there are long range vectors which can actually do the job. So that is the idea of widening, not that physically you go across and start widening it.
Next one, please. Thank you so much for becoming YouTube member. General Dushyant Singh, this is for you, sir. Would these results stick? Is there backlash expected from the people who have not been represented?
For the time being, I don't think there'll be a backlash immediately. There would be a state of seeing the new government, how it is going to behave, and as and when it starts derailing, then there may be a backlash. It is in India's interest that this government gets some time, some way ahead. Otherwise, what is going to be the outcome? It will be the JEI which will again come back into the fore. That alternative we have to guard against. Yes, there would be chances of formation of government. There would be a lot of conflicts here, I feel, in my opinion, essentially because of the way the referendum has been declared. Why I'm saying that they might declare the result of the referendum first and then the elections later.
I don't think that will
That
happen. वो
so there is a
अगर
talk.
कर भी
No, sir. There is a talk, sir. It is. I'm
नहीं
not
नहीं
talking
नहीं एक
directly
मिनट
from
नहीं नहीं
Bangladesh
no,
point of view. There are
see
speakers
my
from there.
I agree
Yes, sir.
they might declare the results of the referendum, but someone has to implement that, no, by law.
That's what I'm saying. That is where they may say that there is a need for a national government. There'll
No,
be
no,
a.
no. I don't think that can happen. That national government, कोई ये BNP वाले कोई with so many seats, no one will agree to it. Then they're looking at a real revolution.
So
You know,
what
it's
I'm
not so
saying is,
simple. ये देखो
what
बात
I,
करने के लिए आसान है. ये
नहीं,
देखिए
ये
it's
this
like
is
the tail
something.
wagging the dog. Yeah.
No,
This
sir.
proposal.
Two
Yes.
two term two term restriction for Tariq Rahman is a big reservation, and that is what is
Look,
coming out from BNP. BNP is not agreeing to it.
no, I
BNP is not
agree with
agreeing
what.
to it.
No, I agree with
And
you. But to
so,
think that see, to think that declare the referendum, then you say that have a national government and declare this thing null and void, and then implement a new charter, I think is out of the
so,
equation now.
so
That is
I'm
out of
just
the
looking.
window.
I'm just looking at it from the Nepal's example,
Right.
where they first elected the constituent assembly, and then they elected the government. So they took some time to make the constitution. Here, in this case, they have mixed up the two. So there are
See,
chances of a confusion here
but
because of the
look,
fact that there are sweeping reforms.
the point is that I don't see the thing in Nepal. What's happening is Sushila Karki is respected universally in Nepal. She's been the Chief Justice of Nepal, so she's got some respect in, and she's doing something transparently. Here, the transparency is not there, and why will see what you are suggesting or what is being propounded by some of these fools. You are only saying what these chaps think. This possibility. Why would BNP ever accept it? BNP tomorrow will go on a revolution and say, how first put the government, it's the government's job to implement the charter. The charter
Absolutely,
is, so I don't see that, and international community will not agree to it. See, there's an
absolutely, sir.
international committee
Uh,
also.
I'm saying there is a scope because international community will also say that
I don't know. I don't know
there
whether,
has been a charter,
look,
there has been
that
a
is a,
referendum which has approved that you have to
like,
change the terms and
I,
conditions of the
I,
government.
I don't,
You'll only
yeah,
serve for 2 terms. The power will be distributed between the president and the prime minister. How will
I,
you take that step, sir? That is
look,
the
I don't
confusion which I'm
know.
trying to say.
No, you can have that confusion. Ignorant. Let me, as per this whole story, the charter was to be put out, and the charter was to be approved by the parliament. There was no one. See, now the point is, now that the elections are held, Yunus has got no power. He cannot. Who's there in government? It's only a caretaker government. Hai ye abhi. They
I
don't
agree,
have
sir.
the power to implement this charter. at all. They don't have, look. They don't have, no one has the power in Bangladesh to put a national government today. The power nahi
Okay.
hai, wo gaya.
Forget about
Okay.
national government.
Ek minute. Then we have not
Forget
spoken of
about
the
national
army.
government. Forget about the national government. Now, I'm just saying BNP
How will-
gets elected. BNP gets elected. It forms the government. Now, if it doesn't implement the referendum, then it is the same as Awami League. And if it is same as Awami League, then there will be people who will be opposed to this government also.
Oh yeah,
And then there may be a confusion.
I agree. I agree with you. It doesn't mean that that referendum will get implemented straight away. It will be go debate. Yeah, we know how parliaments work. Yeah.
180
I
days
don't
have been
see-
given, sir.
Gentlemen, I think we're talking in hypotheses here. Hold on. We're talking in hypotheses. We still have a few questions. Hold on.
Sir, 180 days has been given for the referendum to be executed by the government which is coming into power. Now, in this 180 days, if the referendum is not approved the way it has been approved by the people of Bangladesh, then there is likelihood of a disruption.
That we'll see. 180 days is 6 months.
That is what I'm trying. That is what I'm trying to say.
No, we'll see.
So
Once
there are chances
80
of a
days, 6
backlash.
months. Then we're looking at a completely different story in Bangladesh.
Yeah, Bangladesh is very, very unpredictable, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you.
छोटी सी बात पे लड़ लेंगे.
Request to both to just keep it to 30 seconds per answer, sir. Thought provocator wants to know, this is for General Shankar, shouldn't our first demand be to jail all terrorists and jihadis freed by Yunus to move ahead?
How will you do that? How will you do that? They're all revolutionaries. As per them, they're revolutionaries. They're not jailed. They don't have a record. So this is something which, even if you put in a request, you can put in this request to put some pressure on them. And that's about all. Implemented, it will not be implemented. But you need to put it across. To that extent, I go with it.
Next one, please. Dushyant, this is for you, sir. Why shouldn't we keep Bangladeshi interests dependent on us to ensure no regime can dare to repeat what Yunus and Jamaat attempted?
Look, I think we have spoken about this thing enough. So the answer has been given in our discussion. It has to be a carrot and a stick approach, and you can't be just unidirectional in our dealing with the new government. I want the new government to get a space to work, and let us see how it behaves. A responsible nation first doesn't take actions in haste. It will wait out, see the way this government behaves, and then take necessary actions.
Yeah.
General Shankar, this is for you, sir. How did General Naravne's book get published abroad and quickly come out with an ISBN number and create a ruckus? Does this whole thing seem normal to you as an army general? What's your analysis on this?
Look, I don't want to get sidetracked on this issue. I don't think this is the forum for us to speak. Right? There's enough chaos already about this stupid book of his all over the country. Right from the Prime Minister to the leader of opposition down to every Tom, Dick and Harry is speaking of it. Right? If we speak, I feel we will be making a failure, or we will only endorse the failure of our success. We succeeded against the Chinese. Instead of celebrating that, we are celebrating a failure. I don't think we should talk of it at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No
Thank
comments.
you so much, gentlemen. What a session it was. We'll be back again on Monday with the Gunner Side crew viewers. And thanks once again, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.